Welcome into the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeartRadio app. My name is Rob Sanders. Thanks for joining me today. Got a big jam-packed show for you today. I named the show today Heisman Trophy Candidates and Liars. Yeah, because I got to talk a little bit about there's some conference expansion stuff that's kind of out there a little bit. I guess we can get into that in a moment. We're also going to talk about the Heisman Trophy and how the Heisman Trophy is a fraud. We've kind of been over this before, but it seems like every year folks get really, really happy about, oh, the Heisman Trophy, this, and man, who's going to win the Heisman? How's this going to work out? Yeah, I'll give you what I've got here in a moment on the Heisman Trophy, but the first thing I want to put out there is that Cincinnati, Houston, and UCF reportedly are negotiating exit fees with the American Conference in order to join the Big 12 in 2023. Yeah, that's interesting because I wonder if that's going to speed up the things with Oklahoma and Texas heading to the SEC. So, according to Brett McMurphy, he says Cincinnati, Houston, and UCF are negotiating $17 to $20 million settlement to join the Big 12 next year. AAC Commissioner Mike Oresco initially sought $35 million from the schools. Also, buyout info on teams leaving Conference USA for the AAC and Sun Belt, etc. If these negotiations are successful, those three teams would join the Big 12 on July 1st of 2023, per McMurphy's report. That would then pave the way for some Conference USA teams to join the AAC. The completion of that deal would then allow the 6 Conference USA schools, Charlotte, FAU, North Texas, Rice, UAB, and UTSA, to join the AAC on July 1st. So I give you this because we've talked about maybe things are going to get moved up a little more quickly here. Maybe be a little more quickly when it comes to when teams can leave one conference and go to another. As much money as Texas has, and the fact that they wanted to go to the SEC, they should just pay it. Pay it and move on. Get already in there. Everyone online's talking about Stetson Bennett for Heisman. The same people that are talking about Stetson Bennett for Heisman called him a dwarf and several other things last season. It's amazing what winning a national title after you had a 40-year drought that was broken by a guy, and the guy that you wanted to play ended up being third string on the bench. It's now playing in West Virginia. Yeah. It's amazing how now he's going to win the Heisman. Yay! Elijah says, look, man, we both eat crayons, but Stetson for Heisman is taking it to another level. Yeah. Nobody wants to actually come on the actual radio here and tell me, I think Stetson Bennett's going to win the Heisman, and not be serious about it. No, that's like me saying, you know what, I'm going to go dunk a basketball. I mean, I'm 5'9", but I'm going to go dunk a basketball. Yeah, I mean, it's the same level of silly. But anyway, we'll get into the Heisman Trophy odds in a moment, and why the Heisman Trophy is a piece of garbage. We'll explain that to you in a little bit. Alan says, remember when Rob said UGA fans booed Stetson Bennett? Yes, an accredited member of the media said that they booed Stetson Bennett. I'm sorry if you are so ignorant that you can't understand that. Read something, take your vitamins, and go back to sleep. It's just the way that it is. They booed Stetson Bennett. So stop the nonsense. I don't know why a reporter would lie about that. It's ignorant, to say the least. Let's go out to the phones. Welcome into the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400.
Rob, ask and you shall receive.
Oh, here we go. Hold on. Let me mark the tape here so I can come back and set this straight. All right. Dum Dum calls on May 3rd. Okay, go ahead.
How did you spell dumb?
Huh? Peggin Megan.
That's about right. That's what
Yeah,
I would expect. Look, you're calling the Heisman a fraud because you're
it is a
still
fraud.
mad that ugly woman from Clemson never did get her hands on
That
it.
has absolutely nothing to do with it. If you would follow along and listen, I thought the Heisman
Mhm.
was a fraud when Ndamukong Suh was the most dominant player in college football, and they gave it to some pretty boy.
I have to agree with you there, and I really can't stand saying that, but I do have a problem in the way that it's become almost strictly a quarterback
Hey, look,
award.
you and I goof on each other a lot, but let me ask you something really quick here. If you had to have the choice of for this season and you're starting your NFL team, would you want to build around a running back or would you want to build around Will Anderson from Alabama?
Yeah, give me Anderson.
All day and twice on Sunday. So
Yeah.
that's what's frustrating is that people aren't even giving him the opportunity to be the quote unquote best player in football and win that award simply based on the fact that he plays on the defensive side of the ball. And that's why the Heisman Trophy is garbage. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, and it just diminishes the award itself. It really does. I mean,
It
why not call
really
it?
does. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to give it to the absolute best player in college football and Will Anderson's not in your preseason top 5, then you don't know much about the game of Hud. You really don't.
But I will say this. Obviously, I'm being a little bit tongue in cheek here about Bennett. Here's the defense that I do have about him winning the Heisman. This time last year, if I told you he was going to start the entire season and win a national title, you would say that's just as crazy as him winning the Heisman now.
Oh, wait a minute. I didn't hang up on him. The phone line dropped. So sorry about that. We've got some storms rolling through here. I apologize. Megan can call in back in whenever he wants. But I get where he was going with that as the storms knocked everything out. Sorry about that. I think we're on our generator now out there. Crazy storms here in the Midlands. But I get where he was going with that. With no one thought that he would be the guy that would lead Georgia to a national title. I'm with that. Normally he doesn't make a lot of sense, but he's right about that. Absolutely right about that. And Kirby said I hung up on him. I did not hang up on him. Did not hang up on him. The storms knocked the stuff out. Anyway, feel free to call back 803-978-1832. 803-978-1832. That is the number to dial if you'd like to join us here on the rundown. I'm going to give you some of these odds really quick here, and then we're going to talk about Lincoln Riley in a moment. But at plus 5,000, Spencer Rattler, Bijan Robinson, Will Levis. Okay. I mean, whatever. Not even buying into all that. Dylan Gabriel, the quarterback at Oklahoma, plus 4,000. These are the long shots. Kadon Slovis at Pittsburgh, plus 4,000. Quinn Ewers at Texas, plus 4,000. Here's the thing that bugged me so much about it. Jackson Dart, the quarterback at Ole Miss. This guy hasn't played any in the offense yet. And yet he's at plus 3,000. What a mess. Tyler Van Dyke from Miami, plus 3,000. DJ Uiagalelei at Clemson, plus 3,000. No, oh, my goodness. The more and more I see this, the more and more I get silly. Kate Williams, the quarterback at Southern Cal, plus 1,200. CJ Stroud, the quarterback at Ohio State, plus 200. Bryce Young, the quarterback at Alabama, plus 400. So, yeah, there are some interesting things there. But here's the big thing. Will Anderson's not on this list. And that, my friends, is an absolute travesty. Absolute travesty. So, I've got the odds here. You can call up and tell me which one you think would be an interesting bet. Would you go with Spencer Rattler, Kadon Slovis, CJ Stroud at Ohio State is really, really good. I got a message here from old Buckeye John, who I'm going to read it. I'm not even going to. I can pretty much tell you what Buckeye John's message is going to be. The Big Ten is awesome. Ohio State plays the toughest schedule every year. Woo, Ohio State, Ohio State, Ohio State. Man, Oregon went in and beat the snot out of you in the horseshoe last year, didn't they? Remember that, right? Ohio State's all tough, but yeah, they couldn't beat Oregon. Anyway, he says no quarterback will win the Heisman this year. Travion Henderson will win the Heisman, and Ohio State will win the national title. Mark my words. Boy, we'll put that on the bookcase of accountability. Thank you for being a part of the show, even though it's silly. Captain Trips Online says he's going with Anthony Richardson. You know what? I could you have all these other quarterbacks that haven't been in a system forever. Why is he not on the list? Why is he not on the list? And by the way, I didn't make up this list. This is the Heisman Trophy list from I can't remember the name of the sports book, but they don't have the fine folks from, or the fine gentleman from Alabama and Will Anderson on the list. That's why it's kind of silly. But anyway, which one of those would you take and put a bet on? Would you go with, I mean, if you're going to go big, you might as well go big, right? I mean, why not go throw some money on a Kadon Slovis? Or I think Jacob was saying it here, Tyler Van Dyke at Miami. Why not? Plus 3,000. Okay. I see. It's hard for me to believe that someone's going to win the Heisman Trophy back to back, because the people that actually vote on it, they don't want that. They don't want that. Elijah says the national championship this year will be whoever wins the SEC championship in Ohio State. The other two teams I could see, Utah and either NC State, Clemson, or Baylor. Between those four. Kirby's Visor says Brock Bowers will be the Heisman. Yeah, why don't we have any wide receivers in that list? Wide receivers can win the Heisman Trophy, right? That gets past the smell test with all the, hey, let's put the pretty boys out there. Let's let the running backs or the quarterbacks actually get out there and do their thing. The fact that Will Anderson wasn't even in the list last year, it shows you how silly the Heisman Trophy is. It's a mess when you really stop and think about it. And Peg and Megan, I told him, I've been off the Heisman train since Ndamukong Suh didn't win it his senior year. He was the absolute best player in the country. They were blocking him with triple teams, and he was still getting sacks. And Peg and Megan back online. I did not hang up on you, sir. It's just the phone system. We're having issues with the storm that's rolling through here in the Midlands. He says, all I know is if Jay Burton wins the Heisman this year, I'm quitting football forever. Can you imagine that for Georgia fans? If Burton went to Alabama and Burton won the Heisman. Yeah, went there and he actually won the Heisman. You talk about some silliness. Oh, man, what a mess. All right, your thoughts on the Heisman Trophy quote-unquote favorites at 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. I tell you what, man, there needs to be a new trust. They call it the Heisman Trust. We need to develop a new award that's actually given to the best player. Now, let's make sure we put it out there. Not the best NFL prospect. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the guy that when you are planning to play that team, you have to figure that guy out. You have to scheme around Will Anderson. Your offense has to, your offense has to know exactly where he's at all the time. Because if not, he'll turn your quarterback into a pothole quickly. 803-978-1832. 803-978-1832. Says, don't act like you wouldn't like that, Rob. I don't think Burton's going to win the Heisman, but that would be funny. I like comedy. I like comedy. I really do. 803-978-1832. As we talk about the Heisman race, we talk about the expansion and how it's going to get interesting. You know, the one thing that really gets me is when they have league meetings, whether you're in the Big 12 right now or whatever, okay? You know, Oklahoma and Texas technically are still in the Big 12, even though they are ready to go. How do you not let them? I'd tell them don't come to league meetings anymore. You don't get a vote anymore. Why would they get to vote on something for a conference? They're not going to be there anyway. I'm serious. It's not that far-fetched to think that could happen. And here's the thought too. Oh, you want to leave the conference? Well, we don't let you play in the conference championship game. Have a nice day. What are they going to do? Take your birthday away? You're leaving. Get out. Jacob says, CJ Stroud is my pick to win the Heisman. I would be shocked if Bryce Young won it 2 years in a row. Nothing against Bryce Young, but that just doesn't happen. Okay. All right. I can see that too. Yeah, winning it 2 years in a row isn't going to happen. He'd have to come out and have just a monumental type year. I'm talking like over the top crazy. But you know what? The Heisman Trophy, in reality, it doesn't matter. Remember I talked about the bowl games that don't matter? The Heisman Trophy doesn't matter. Will Anderson's not going to be in the mix. It shouldn't exist. All right, 803-978-1832. Crazy weather out there. I can hear the thunder and lightning and the rain pounding on the roof here. Be sure to keep yourself safe out there. This is The Rundown. You're listening to Fox Sports Radio 1400. So, well, there you go. Am I frozen now? Uh-oh. All right, so we got crazy weather going through, so I just refreshed the screen there. Anyway, what a mess. You know, I love a good rainstorm. Really, really helps my realistic one. Yeah, I'm a big Will Anderson guy. He is a dominant dude. He plays with a chip on his shoulder too, man. When he gets out there, he likes to knock people around. And I approve of that. And by the way, I know everyone is here for football talk, but I was watching the playoffs, the NBA playoffs on Sunday. They ejected Draymond Green for a play where he went up and his hand got caught in the guy's shirt. He brings the guy down, helped him so he didn't land flat on his face, and they ejected him anyway. The NBA has turned into a society of smooth surfaces. Absolute smooth surfaces. The refs are all eunuchs. That's how I feel about that. It's like, oh, oh, look at me, I'm a referee. It is so frustrating. It's terrible. He was really great, and it's sad. And it's nothing against Bryce Young. Bryce Young had a hell of a season. But I'm just not buying the whole, hey, Will Anderson's not even in the mix. It's pretty terrible when it comes down to it. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832, as we have a very wet Tuesday here in the Midlands. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeartRadio app. My name is Rob Sanders. Thanks for joining us today. We talked a little bit about the Heisman Trophy and how I think that the Heisman Trophy is a fraud. Why do they keep I guess it's just the prestige of it, but in reality, what is it? The Maxwell Award given to the best player? I can't remember. That's the one that should be the way that it is, where that's the way to go, but it's not. All right. So I've got something else here. Remember we were talking about college coach or the realignment of teams leaving for one conference and going somewhere else. Lincoln Riley left Oklahoma, and there was a lot of talk. All right, maybe he's leaving Oklahoma to avoid going to play in the SEC. But Lincoln Riley told 247 Sports, no, there's not any truth to that. I took a pretty big job when I was 33 years old at Oklahoma. And the reality of the matter is that the easier thing for me would have been to stay at OU. I mean, that program was running at a high level and the family settled, staff settled. A lot of things were going very well that I absolutely think will continue to go well. It's a tremendous program. That program is going to be just fine. But the easier thing would have been to stay. It's tremendous in every sense, but the chance to do this at this place combined with some of the opportunities for my family off the field, the life away from it, a chance to live in this place, educational opportunities at the end of the day, it really just was the right place at the right time. I'm calling you, sir, Pinocchio. I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. Look, we goof a lot on here about conference stuff and all of that. But if you are going to leave the Big 12 conference where you don't even have to really get up for one game every year, who in the Big 12 challenged Oklahoma? I guess Baylor was there a little bit. You have to get up for that game. But other than that, playing against one team pretty much every season, compared to if you're put into the SEC West, not the East is still terrible other than Georgia. But if you're put into the SEC West, where you've got to play a murderer's row schedule of Alabama and LSU, both have won national titles in the past 5 years. In addition to, I would put Ole Miss up there as well. And Auburn. Auburn's won a title in the past, 15 years. You have all of that there. Now, you do have bye weeks like Texas A&M. No respect for them until Jimbo Fisher gets them right. But I goof, but the reality is, playing at Texas A&M is a lot tougher than going to play at Kansas or going to play at Kansas State. But to come out and say this stuff, what kind of level of arrogancy is that? That program's going to be fine. I took that job at 33 years old. Man, you're just making it where no one likes you anyway. They already hate you down in Oklahoma anyway. You want to have a new reality show, have Lincoln Riley try to walk back on the Oklahoma campus. Let's see how that works out. I'm not buying that at all. Elijah says Tennessee, Kentucky, and South Carolina would compete for the championship in the ACC. Oh, come on, Elijah. Come on, man. You really and truthfully believe that? Okay. Okay. Tennessee couldn't beat Purdue last year. Shh. Purdue just scored again. Calm down. They're in a bright spot now, but it's not like Kentucky football is the greatest thing ever. And by the way, I wasn't talking about the ACC. I was talking about the Big 12. So make a reference to the Big 12. Tennessee would not win the ACC. Sorry. Don't think so. I don't think that would happen. I think Tennessee would lose probably to Wake Forest. They would probably lose to, I don't know, Miami, Clemson. Who else could they lose to? The Coastal is almost like the SEC East, just not very good. You have to put them in the Atlantic. NC State would probably pop them in the face. Tennessee would probably be a 4-4 conference team in the ACC if they played in the Atlantic. If they played in the Coastal, they might go 6-2, depending on who their cross-conference rival was. Jacob says, almost beat the ACC champion. Okay, well, you didn't. So there's that. All right, 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. Tennille says, per OU fans, they should have stayed within the realm of reality last year for you to feel sorry for them. Okay. Jacob says, NC State got blown out by Mississippi State. Mississippi State doesn't play in the East, sir. Thank you for playing. Sorry. We weren't talking about the West. We were talking about the East. 803-978-1832. But it comes back down to this. I wonder if he was trying to duck the SEC. You think that was the case with Lincoln Riley? He was 1-3 against the SEC as Oklahoma's head coach. His lone win was against Florida in the 2020 Cotton Bowl. Yeah, that was that Florida team, though, that was the one where their tight end Pitts was doing the interview at the half, or like they're getting beat senseless, and he's trying to talk them up. Remember that? That was a really crazy thing. Yeah. Okay, terrific. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. That is the number to call if you'd like to join us here on the Rundown this afternoon on Fox Sports Radio 1400, of course, around the world on the iHeartRadio app. My name is Rob Sanders. I'm on Twitter at Rob Sounds Good. Appreciate everybody checking out the show, which you can follow along with the podcast. It's up every day at 5 o'clock. As always, we've got all kinds of stuff that we keep up with here on the Rundown. Of course, you could check out the blog page at foxsportsradio1400.com. That is always getting updated. You can go and check out that stuff there if you like. Oh, I wanted to get into this before we go to break really quick here. Urban Meyer is reportedly in deep negotiations for his next job, as in there's talk that he may be going to have a television role. How does that happen? How do you go from what he did at Jacksonville and what he did at the last two spots where he was at to, oh yeah, I'm going to get a job on TV right now? Is there not anybody out there that can do TV where we have to get Urban Meyer? What does he bring to the conversation? I mean, to make him one of the talking heads. I don't think I want to watch anything with Urban Meyer on it. Really don't. Especially considering the fact that he wants to coach again. I mean, that's just real. More of the Rundown when we come back. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. I agree, Jet Mech. I mean, why is this guy I mean, are we going to bring him on so he can tell us how to, I don't know, grab ass in a bar? I don't need a manual for that. How to do that. Are you, Ryan? Silly. Ryan, don't drink. Don't drink before 4:00 in the afternoon, man. Are you tuning in to watch Urban Meyer though? Seriously. We're not discussing politics in the room, Jetmech. But that is a funny statement. Good point, vodka drinker. How do you rebound from those heart conditions and all that other stuff? I'm about at the point where I got to trim my beard. It's all over the place. Welcome back to the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeartRadio app. You know, I was talking about Urban Meyer. A report just came out that Shad Khan, the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Side note, you folks that are listening in Florida, and I know that there are people that are down there, do they actually have Jaguars in Jacksonville? I mean, what in the world? How do you name a mascot after a Jaguar? I don't get it. Anyway, we were talking about Urban Meyer, and this just came out. In an interview with USA Today, Khan said Meyer lost his respect and trust throughout the course of the season, making him impossible to work with. Quote, when you lose the respect, the trust, and an issue of truthfulness, how can you work with someone like that? Khan said, it's not possible. Khan said the issue with Meyer wasn't on-field performance. It was not about wins and losses. I think when you know someone is not truthful, how can you be around someone, okay? We had Doug Marrone here for 4 years. We had Gus Bradley here for 4 years. I have nothing but the utmost respect and friendship with them. That's why they got the time, because it wasn't a matter about respect or truth. It was a matter of wins and losses over 4 years. This is much bigger than that. So basically, the owner of an NFL franchise said, you're a liar. You are a liar. And that's why I can't work for you. I can't work with you. But hey, let's give you a TV job. Let's make sure you have that. Make sure that happens really quick there. What a mess. I was just talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I was asking if there are actual Jaguars in Jacksonville, and I don't think so. I don't think so. Jason said they do have Panthers in Florida. I can get behind that. But they were sitting around thinking, I'm going to name the team the Jacksonville Jaguars. Okay. Kirby's visor has a problem. This is always someone walking into the office wanting me to work when I'm trying to listen to the show and talk CFB smack. Yeah. Heaven forbid you have that job where you can't pay attention to the show. That's not going to work. Anyway, so one of the NFL owners calling Urban Meyer a liar. But you want to know something, though? I think the people at like I think like Ohio State fans, they'd still love him. He still probably doesn't have to pay for a drink ever. Nick Saban came out and revealed his list of people who are able to sustain success. We'll get into that in a moment. 803-978-1832. Welcome into the program. Good afternoon.
Yeah, I got back in Columbus just in time to hear that smack. You want to say something about the Jaguars?
Yeah, I said that I don't know why they named their mascot the Jaguars when there are no Jaguars in Jacksonville.
Hey, they got same reason why they named the Carolina Panthers the Panthers.
There are Panthers in North and South Carolina, sir. There are no Jaguars in Jacksonville.
Don't worry about the Jaguars. The Jaguars are gonna be that means they're gonna jump on you.
Hold on. Are you a Jaguars fan?
I'm from Jacksonville. I like
No. Are you a Jaguars fan, sir? That's a simple question. Are you a Jaguars fan?
Big things down in Jacksonville for the Jaguars.
Are you a Jaguars fan?
Sure.
Bless your heart.
No doubt.
Bless your heart, sir.
That's my hometown. I'm gonna support them, buddy.
Oh man.
I'm gonna support them.
I'm sorry. I can't say anything bad about you, man, because you're a Jaguars fan.
That's right.
Bless heart.
Just got back in Columbia about an hour ago.
Well, obviously, I'm glad you got out of Jacksonville without getting shot. That's great.
Oh yeah, no doubt about that.
You know, there's a lot that goes on down there now. I'm not speaking out of school.
Right. I bet it was about over this weekend. It's like 10 murders.
I'm not joking about this. When I was stationed in New Orleans,
I'm serious.
Yeah, when I was stationed in New Orleans in 1999. They used to have the names of the deceased that died that day on like a ticker on the bottom of the screen, like we look at scores now. I don't know if it's that bad in Jacksonville really, yet, but it's close.
It's really bad down there. Yeah, it is. With murders, it is bad, no doubt.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you made it back without getting no
shot.
Doubt.
Me too. I mean, just yesterday alone, I know I've seen about 3 or 4 homicides.
Really?
Really?
Did you
report
them?
Only 28 years. This girl was 28 years old.
Yeah.
And she was pumping. I guess she was pumping gas, and she got caught up in the crossfire. It was probably about 75 to 80 rounds at the gas station. So and she got killed. She had 4 kids.
Oh my goodness, that is an absolutely horrible story. I was going to ask you. I mean, did you go to the police? I mean, or did you just get in your car? Because anytime I see something like that, I'm heading back.
Hey man, let me tell you something. Police, it ain't hard to find police. They're on every corner down there.
Well, then why do
They're all over the place.
Well, all right. Well, I'm sorry that your hometown has turned into murder central down there, man. That's not good.
It is. I mean, it is what it is, buddy.
Well, I thought they could have named their mascot something better than the Jaguars because there aren't any Jaguars down there.
Fine. Shad Khan got big things going on down there.
Hey, do you think Urban Meyer's a liar? Because Shad Khan said he is.
Yep.
Okay.
He's a liar.
He's a liar. Very
That's
good.
why Shad Khan fired him.
It's hard to get Florida fans to come off on that, but hey, I appreciate it.
Yeah, he is. Oh, a lot of Florida fans don't like Urban Meyer.
Well, I mean, he kind of quit on you and said, I'm having heart problems, and it wasn't really having heart problems. So,
but that's fine.
Well, I'm glad you made it back, sir, without having to deal with all that.
No doubt. All right, guys.
Appreciate you, man. See you later.
All right.
What should we rename the Jaguars? We're not going to call them the Jacksonville Homicides. That's not good. Elijah says Detroit should change the name from the Lions to the Trap Houses. Okay. Papa B says no Commanders in Washington right now. What a mess. We're going to all have to have eventually it's going to come down to all of the mascots have to be something that doesn't offend anyone. We're going to end up with the Jacksonville Paperclips against the Washington Water Bottles. Who knows? Seriously, that's where we're going with the whole mascot thing. It's going to end up offending one person here or there or wherever. And all of a sudden, all the mascot stuff's got to go away. Eight 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. Jacob says that was a weird call. Look, he was calling to defend his Jaguars, and then we just talked about how crime is rampant in Jacksonville. Kirby's Advisors calls them the Pittsburgh Paperclips. I mean, is the Steeler name something that can offend people? I'm not sure. I don't know at this juncture. Then we have to name the Pittsburgh Paperclips. The Carolina Panthers, we don't want to put the Panthers name out there because, they have a panther that's making fun of an animal. We can't have that. So we'll have the Carolina Erasers. Oh, no, that's too negative. That's not good at all. I'm serious, though. We could have the Carolina Scissors like that. There you go. By the way, get your mom the Mother's Day gift she deserves. Win your mom a trip to luxurious Fripp Island, South Carolina. Enter to win now at foxsportsradio1400.com with our Mother's Day giveaway. Getaway, not giveaway. We're going to give you a trip to Fripp Island. Go down there with that. 803-978-1832. Check out the contest, foxsportsradio1400.com. More of the rundown when we come back. I've got another Zoe in there. And I missed the trash can. I was reading something about how they want to get like PETA wants to get rid of all of the animal mascots, especially teams that have like a live animal. And it's like they're big on the buffalo at Colorado, and of course Mike, the LSU Tiger, the Baylor Bears. They actually have bears at Baylor, and of course UGA down at Georgia. And I was sitting and I was thinking about it. Those animals live better than we do. Serious. Jacob, if you don't like what I'm talking about, dude, I'm sorry. We're talking about mascots, my friend. What your problem is today? Is your tampon string tied too tight? Is it caught on your toenail? What's wrong with you, sir? Yes, Brandon, I like Matt Corral going in the third round. And I said yesterday on the show, Matt Corral should start today. Get whatever you can get for Sam Darnold. If it's a bucket of baseballs and the tampon that's twisted around Jacob's toe there, get that. Whatever you want. Billy, we are going to talk about the NFL draft tomorrow with LaVon Kirkland, who actually played in the NFL. So that's where we're going with that. Welcome back to the rundown. Out to the phones we go. Good afternoon.
Hey, Rob. This is Scott from Hartsville.
Hi, Scott.
How do you feel about USC going and buying the Pitt wide receiver?
We talked about that yesterday, and I think it's at a point now where, first of all, if he can get that kind of money, if you look at the Justin Ross is an example. Justin Ross, after his freshman year, was considered a first-round pick. First-round pick. If he could have gotten NIL money then, he probably would have gotten $2 million. After the performance he had in the national championship game, he would have gotten all of that money. So, yeah, I think that the NIL stuff is already out of the bag. And if he has the opportunity to go and get some money, I don't really have a problem with it. But the thing is that it's almost going to be like a shock period, meaning that we're going to have to just get used to it. I mean, that's just the way that it is, because we can't go back now. We can't take the toothpaste and put it back in the tube. So,
but there are no more rules now. I mean,
well, and maybe that's what we should try to figure out. And I would send something to the NCAA, but it'll take them 8 years to figure it out.
Oh, yeah. But there's schools out there that could police themselves. I mean, I watched the Aaron Hernandez story the other night.
And I appreciate that, but the reality is this. If I am at a school and I am a head coach like Lincoln Riley, who is a fraud, by the way, but if I'm Lincoln Riley and I'm trying to make a splash at Southern Cal and I've already got a quarterback that's transferring in that's really, really good, and I have the opportunity to get the Biletnikoff Award winner and have him line up, and it just takes me making a call to a booster to get some NIL money, I'm going to take it. If I'm Shane Beamer at South Carolina and I could have had the opportunity to have Spencer Rattler throwing to the Biletnikoff Award winner, and it was just a matter of calling up somebody and getting an NIL deal done, I would do that too.
Yeah, but the problem is every school can't do that.
Well, yeah, and that's true.
We talk about the haves and have-nots already.
Right.
It's going to be even worse.
Well, and I get that, but look, let's just say in a roundabout way, there are 15 teams. Let's just throw that number out there where they can actually say, you know what, we can pay X amount of money for that. Okay, there's still only so many spots on those teams. You're going to have good players that end up dropping through the cracks, and you're going to end up with coaches like Dave Clawson at Wake Forest that can get teams together and go and square off with some of these guys. I still believe that Texas A&M ducked Wake Forest last season in the bowl game because they were absolutely scared to play against a coach that would have his players squared away to a point where they would have ran them out of wherever it was they were playing. I truly believe that. So you're going to have that kind of a coach that can do that, but there's still, you're right, there's only going to be so many teams that can get that $2 million that can go and get that kid. So,
yeah, I mean, it's going to be, the season is going to be basically amongst a handful of teams. I mean, Clemson came out of nowhere to national prominence.
I don't see that happening again. Sir, not really. I mean, for them to, they've won 10 games for 12 straight years now. They weren't really nationally prominent until year 4, year 5 with Dabo Swinney. I mean, it took him that long to get them to a point where people were thinking, you know what, this Clemson team is going to be really good. So I mean, it took them a while to get there.
It took us 100 years to get there.
That's true too.
But my thing is with these players, why can't the players go to the court system now and say, look, I'm 18 years old. I'm old enough to go fight and die for my country. Why am I not old enough to play in the NFL?
I can agree with you on that, but I also have the mentality of if you're 18 years old and you can go and sign up to go and die overseas, you can go and vote at 18, but heaven forbid you go and try to buy a beer. Oh, no. You can't do that until you're 21. No, sir.
I mean, but there's just no consistency. Basketball's got the 1-year plan. Baseball's got the no-year plan. And football's got the 3-year plan.
Well, and I think that a lot of that comes down to if you look at, let's say that you look at a freshman offensive lineman that goes into college. They're not going to have the body that they're going to have once they're a junior. Look at Deshaun Watson. He looked like he was 160 pounds.
Small.
When he started at Clemson, then he ended up like 215, 220. when he got drafted. I mean, your body needs time to mature. I think that's what the NFL is going after. But
let's take Justin Ross. After his freshman year, if he goes into the NFL draft, he's drafted.
That's true.
He's in there.
Well, and I wonder if that's how that's going to work out, but we'll see on that. But I think the other interesting thing too, and I looked it up yesterday, that the average third-round pick in the NFL draft gets about $800,000. Of course, your agent gets, whatever his percentage is of that, and then taxes and everything else. But if I'm in college and I can make that much money in NIL, why would I go to the pros?
Yeah.
Why would I do that?
But I'm one of those guys that these college guys were getting a lot before the NIL. Because it cost me, I had 3 daughters. My last one's fixing to graduate next year. Each one of them has been over $100,000 for a 4-year education at Clemson.
Yeah, but look, your
what those guys were getting.
Respectfully, sir, your daughters were going to Clemson to get an education. I don't think these guys were going to Clemson to get an education. They didn't know that you could study poultry science at Clemson. They didn't know that. They went there to play football. They could care less. And I think that's the way it is across the country. Getting a degree is okay and it's great, but in reality, they're going there to play football. They could care less about the academic end of it.
But, getting the degree is everything. I mean, because,
to you and I, but to them, they think they can go to the pros. They don't care about that.
But you know what? Booth may be a complete bust, but he's got a degree. James Kowski's got his degree. He's probably never going to play it down in the NFL. It's just, I think some of these kids are going to be gone in 3 years. They're not going to have a degree. They're going to have been through at least two schools. All the money's going to be gone because the family's going to get it, or the uncle's going to get it, and they're just going to be out.
I don't know. I think some kids will get it right, but yeah, I have to figure it out. I have to figure it out, man.
All right, man. Thanks.
All right. See you later. All right. Well, we can rip the NIL all day long. So, yeah. I want to read Megan's comment up there, but I can't because it'll get me canceled. You should follow the chat. It's on the Fox Sports Radio 1400 Facebook page. It's worth your time. It's worth your time. Brandon says, I thought you had to be in the portal by May 1st of this year. Addison didn't enter until the 3rd. Yeah, there's a 2-day window. He let them know on Sunday it took them that long to get the paperwork in. So he made it just in time. So there's that. All right, tomorrow we'll do a full NFL draft breakdown with our buddy Levon Kirkland. He's already got which players he thinks are going to be breakout stars. And we'll get into that and all kind of other stuff there. Tennille says, anarchy is ruling in NIL. Yeah, there's that too. I mean, it's like you can't latch onto a team anymore and follow players because you don't know what you got. You really don't. By the way, Brad Brownell's been doing this forever. He just brings transfers in all over the place. You don't know who's going to be on the Clemson basketball team ever. You really don't. Clemson basketball fans, they're used to this by now. All right, tomorrow on the show, NFL Draft Talk and more. We'll be back at it then. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. We were talking about the whole thing with you can't buy a beer until you're 21. Prostitution is illegal too in our country unless you film it. If you film it, then it's art. Think about that. That's a big Barney Ross thing there. Prostitution is illegal unless you film it in the United States. There you go. There's something you can leave with today. Appreciate y'all, man. We'll see you later on. You guys are awesome.